Before we get into this, just want to say thanks for the support and positive feedback. Please consider subscribing and enjoy. Welcome to Blueprints Unsealed, a series of reflections and thought depicting the life and times of society's most influential people, ideas, and culture. Life is all about perception. It shapes who we are as individuals. Even when two people share the same moment, they will not share the same experience. For our perspective in life is unique to each and every one of us. In fact, we all experience different realities, and yet there is so much that remains hidden from us. As kids, we were taught that we have five main senses, but this couldn't be further from the truth. We have much, much more. However, there's a duality to life, and for every sensation that the body can feel, it has the ability to suppress. But nature isn't the only one that conceals things. Of course, the plight of hiding things has been the agenda of self-serving individuals for centuries. The bottom line, the truth demands to be free, and anything hidden in the dark will sooner or later be revealed by the light. Before the invention of the digital camera, we used film, a thin, flexible strip of plastic material coated with light-sensitive emulsion to achieve proper exposure. It is used to produce photographs and motion pictures. And although digital cameras made life easier for photographers, few people realized that there were major trade-offs. For starters, with a higher dynamic range, film is better at capturing white and black details that can't be replicated with digital cameras. Also, film can capture subtle details lost in digital photography. It is more forgiving of minor focusing issues and exposure problems, and film captures photos at higher resolution than most digital cameras. In short, film has the ability to capture life as we see it, but more importantly, it can reveal things that remains hidden from our sight. This is important, especially when you consider that from time to time, strange things are captured on camera that is beyond comprehension. And when these anomalies are captured on film, they tend to produce clear images that are somewhat elusive in nature. However, developing film requires the use of special equipment, technique, and the proper environment. In short, people heavily rely on professionals to develop their pictures. Therefore, in order to manipulate an image, one must go through great lengths. To the contrary, images today that are taken with digital film can be easily manipulated, all in the comforts of one's home. Today, both professional photographers and amateurs has access to a plethora of tools that makes editing or processing images effortless. And as a consequence, digital imaging has perpetuated many hoaxes where people are misrepresenting certain anomalies captured on camera. Here's what's interesting. In the same manner in which people can edit certain things into their images, there's another component to this. Today, digital cameras can perform some amazing features, including the ability to remove certain obstructions from an image, or pretty much anything that deviates from what is standard, normal, or expected. This is known as an artifact. Traditionally, the removal of artifacts will be done in post processing. However, after years of extensive research involving digital photography and light manipulation, software engineers has finally discovered how to eliminate artifacts in the camera itself without the need for additional processing. But there's a potential problem here. As we move towards the automation of image processing, it allows the digital camera the ability to filter out certain images without the photographer's consent or knowledge. It's not hard to imagine a scenario in the near future where your camera is physically restricted by third party software from taking pictures or video of certain individuals, products, or anything for any reason, even if the law permits for an individual to do so. In 1996, Congress passed the Telecommunications Act that required the ultimate transition of television broadcasting systems from analog to digital. The official reason was based on three factors. One, it would improve picture and sound quality. Two, it would provide more options to the end user. And three, it would clear up more resources for the government. However, what was the actual result? This effectively limited the range in which broadcasting systems could reach, and it provides a backdoor access for the government and private companies to directly control what gets transmitted to your television set. Think about it. Through a simple flip of a switch, anyone can render all television sets obsolete from a central location. The irony here is that today we have smartphones, smart TVs, tablets, and other things that allow the government and private interests direct access to our private data. In hindsight, the broadcasting system mandate was merely a precursor to all of this. What actually happened to these analog frequencies? According to online sources, the government ended up selling these unused analog frequencies to the highest bidders, which turned out to be telephone companies. Let's recap for a moment. The idea of a filter is used as a means to control what the end user has access to. As such, there's a connection between analogs and digital systems, whereas analog systems essentially represents a physical connection to a source, and a digital system samples the information and converts it to a different format. This essentially adds an additional medium or contact point between the information transmitted and its source. In short, digital systems are very susceptible to hackers or other external factors. In fact, as the world becomes more dependent on digital technology, the U.S. Air Force maintains a fleet of planes that uses antiquated electronics and flight equipment, since digital tech was fried during a nuclear war. Shakespeare once said, "The eyes are the windows to the soul," a profound quote by all means, but in a sense, this quote assumes that the eye is free of obstructions that would limit one's ability to see clearly. But then again, the human eye has a natural impediment called the lens, and although the function of the lens is to bend and focus light to produce a clear image, as we age, it becomes the primary reason of why we lose our eyesight. However, there's a secondary function of the lens, which serves to filter out certain wavelengths of light, including infrared and the ultraviolet spectrum. If you ever wondered what the world would look like if we were able to observe the ultraviolet and infrared spectrum, a French painter by the name Claude Monet did such a thing, and as a result, he suffered from depression for the rest of his life. When you think about the concept of filters, there's a tendency to associate it as a means of taking away or impeding, but I believe this is only half the truth. I liken the idea of a filter as a means to manifest whatever the intended purpose is. Consider that all cameras naturally has the ability to image in the infrared, and without color filters, cameras would be incapable of producing multicolor images that we see in our everyday lives. The point is that in order to see the full spectrum of colors, a filter must first block out anything that would impede the manifestation of the full color spectrum. Thanks for watching. Please consider supporting the channel by hitting the like button and subscribing.